Chelsea's transfer window is done. The summer window is closed. It closed last night at 11 o'clock, and we all know the business that's been done. This video is extended on the channel. I normally do a 5-minute news video and live match commentaries. Today, this video is going to look in more detail over the Chelsea transfer window, asking you, the Chelsea fan, the question: do you feel our squad is now improved on what it started with at the beginning of the summer window before those players left the football club? That's the biggest question, because at the end of the day, what you're looking for is to improve your squad season after season with the options you got available. With that in mind, I'm going to go into detail. So without further ado, if you like the sound of this video, make sure you stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get cracking. So people, we know that we were going to lose a number of players over the course of the summer because they refused to sign new contracts and would go on free transfers. There was a lot of speculation regarding Romelu Lukaku and potential others leaving the football club. We had the same players that have been linked with moves away from Chelsea, as they are time and time again. And we wondered what would happen in the window. Now, almost a couple of months later, we're sitting here with the window closed. We know what our squad is. And for me, we've improved on what we had, and that's key. So let's have a look at our window and let's have a look at the players that have left the football club and their replacements. Starting first and foremost in the main area where we need to improve. Now, Chelsea's problem for the last couple of seasons has been goals. We brought in Romelu Lukaku, who was going to be the answer. Had been at Inter Milan, playing in the front two with Lautaro Martinez, dovetailing off of him. He come to Chelsea, he was asked to lead the line himself. Inter, playing the two, he scored goals for fun. At Chelsea, scored the odd few, but then that was it. Couldn't adapt to our tactic. Bleated in the January window around that sort of time about the fact he wasn't happy and wanted to go back to Inter. We all know what happened. He then come back in, couldn't quite get back in, eventually got in and scored a couple again, but it was never what it was supposed to be. And Lukaku's gone back to Inter on loan. Chelsea took a massive hit on Lukaku, but one they felt they had to do based on the situation with him personally at the football club, his happiness, the way he fit into the tactic, and he left. And we've been looking for a replacement all summer long with a number of different players linked, but the main one was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, I've sat and watched the Arsenal All or Nothing documentary on Amazon with the situation with Aubameyang last season, and let's put all that to one side. Might just be man management, you never know. What we're looking at is his relationship with Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund and how successful the both of them were. Aubameyang knows how he wants to play. He knows what's expected. And we got the deal done. A 2-year contract for around 12 million. Outstanding. Lukaku out, who doesn't fit into his plans. Aubameyang in, who knows exactly what Tuchel wants. Has got a proven goal-scoring record in the Premier League and in Barcelona in the short stint he had. Obviously at Dortmund as well. For me, definite improvement. Okay, there's an age difference with Aubameyang being 33, but proven, still quick, still works hard, still puts the ball in the back of the net. For me, that ticks off as an improvement. Next up, a surprising departure for me was Timo Werner going back to RB Leipzig. Now, Werner went back and you have to say that the guy suffered at Chelsea through goals and his lack of goals based on what he did at Leipzig. That's because he was played in a different couple of positions. He was asked to fill in certain roles at times and never really got into a swing of it, really. I mean, he was given opportunities, but out wide or, not really playing for the middle. Some people say that's not what his game was, but for someone that quick and explosive, getting in behind, maybe it's just the Chelsea way. The way we play our football didn't suit him as well, and Werner was allowed to leave. So when he leaves, you're looking at a replacement. Raheem Sterling was signed from Man City, who likes to operate on the left-hand side, and I'll repeat, the left-hand side of our attacking line, not on the right-hand side, where he's featured recently. Yes, I know he's got 3 goals in 2 games, but still needs to be playing on that left-hand side. But Sterling, proven, tried and trusted, outstanding goal-scoring record. You have to say it's an improvement on the option that we've got. Werner out, Sterling in. 2 from 2 so far. Then we come to Toni Rudiger, who is someone that has a very different opinion amongst the Chelsea fan base. Some people love him, some people don't. Some people think he's reckless. And Rudiger decided that he wanted to cash in on his last big contract. Fair play to him personally. And he went to Real Madrid for big money on a free transfer. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel loves him. Played really well for Tuchel. You can't deny that. And Tuchel wanted to keep hold of him. He wanted to go for the money, and he did. So you look at a potential replacement. Kalidou Koulibally, tried and tested. 31-year-old, signed a 4-year contract. Been linked with Chelsea a number of years, and he's spoken about that himself. Koulibaly's come in. More of a footballer for me, rather than what Rudiger was with the ball at his feet. And I think, based on his aerial ability, his physique, the way that he can dominate players, and he doesn't really jump into challenges recklessly like Rudiger does. Yes, he pulled back against Leeds twice and got booked for it, but Koulibaly is an outstanding defender. And for me, based on the fact that he is not reckless, based on the fact that he looks a more physical, imposing defender, and his use of the ball, I think that's an improvement on Rudiger. Slight improvement, but one all the same. That's the third tick in a row. Next up, Andreas Christensen left to go to Barcelona. Fair play to him. Christensen had done well under Tuchel. He'd been in and out for a number of different seasons with different managers. Under Tuchel, he got a fair run. And it was surprising to see that he left the club. He wanted to go to Barcelona. Fair play. He does a contract agree with Chelsea. He then changed agent. The agent got in his ear and said, look, why don't you take a lesser contract and then get another bigger one towards the end of your career? Chelsea said, no, this was the terms of the deal that we agreed. Then it was rejected, and then he went to Barca. So, up to him, he's gone. You bring a replacement in, Wesley Fofana, 21-year-old defender, 7-year contract, one of the most highly rated and talked about centre-halves in the Premier League. Fofana has now got the opportunity to come into Chelsea and learn every day from the likes of Thiago Silva and Kalidou Koulibaly, and will only get better and better as it goes on. Look at Gary Cahill when he come in, playing next to John Terry and picking up the tips and just guidance from Terry. Fofana will have the wealth of experience from Thiago Silva and Koulibaly, and he's only going to improve, and that's what's exciting. So for me, Christensen, Fofana, pretty much like for like, but with the potential to improve with Fofana. Tick for me again. That's 4 ticks in a row. Now to Marcus Alonso, who had his contract mutually terminated yesterday with Chelsea. He's going to sign for Barcelona. Alonso is somebody that the Chelsea fans will remember fondly for what he did going forward. Now, for me, I think that his ability with the ball at his feet was really underrated, Alonso. He was a great threat in the attacking third, popping up with important goals against the Spurs, of course, but important goals along the way. And he posed a real threat. Calm and composed the ball at his feet. The only issue was defensively lacking, and we have to be honest about that. He was. Anyway, in the wing-back formation, maybe now and again you can get away with it, but at times you're found out. Alonso's gone, and he'll be fondly remembered by Chelsea fans for his contribution, starting under Antonio Conte, but also through those times, of course, winning the Champions League and everything else. So, Alonso's gone. Who do we sign as a replacement? Marc Cucurella, the name that's been linked with Chelsea a couple of seasons ago from Brighton, signed a 6-year contract, the 24-year-old. And for me, defensively, much better than Alonso. He's already proven that he can get forward and be a threat. Not as many goals as Alonso so far from what we've seen in the Premier League with Brighton, but there's plenty of room to grow, and that hopefully will come. But Cucurella in for Alonso as the all-round wing-back option defensively, which is 50-50 for me, as important as going forward. Again, that's an improvement and another tick. Just needs to score a couple more goals. And then the one that people are talking about yesterday, Billy Gilmour was allowed to leave the football club and sign for Brighton on a permanent deal. A lot of people rate Gilmour and his use to the ball and his ability, and we saw what he did against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup a few seasons back. The question over Gilmour was, can he do it on a week-by-week basis in the Premier League? And you get the impression that if he had a chance and opportunity to fill out a little bit and get that exposure, and because he is intelligent enough to give himself space and time to collect the ball, I think he will be good enough long term. I don't think he is at the moment. I think he's still raw. I think he's still going to get found out and make mistakes, getting caught in possession. And I just think that Thomas Tuchel looked at him and thought it was too small. And for someone in that midfield role, you've got to be physical and dynamic. And that's what I think went against him. And there's a report that Todd Bowley wanted to keep him, but Tuchel said, no, we need to get rid of him to free up the space. So Billy Gilmour's gone. And Carney, Chukwuemeka, came in from Aston Villa, signed a 6-year contract, the 18-year-old. And he's already made waves at Villa, coming through the ranks there and playing some first-team football. And looking at how much first-team football Billy Gilmour had to Carney Chukwuemeka, who's bigger, who looks like he's more physical and be able to cope with the demands of the game, you have to wonder. I'm going to put the juries out as far as ticking and saying it's an improvement. But for me, there's the replacement. You make up your own minds and let me know in the comment section. Moving on to another first-team squad member that was allowed to leave the football club is Ross Barkley. Now, Barkley flattered to deceive at Chelsea. A real key player for Everton, playing week in, week out and showing exactly what he could do. At Chelsea, under a number of different managers, he couldn't cut it. He couldn't force his way in and he couldn't get that regular run of games and played bit part. And I think if you look at Ross Barkley's Chelsea career, people will probably say bit part, genuinely, for the main part of his stay here. And it's on Barkley. The problem is with Ross Barkley, he does not work hard enough without the ball. And the way the game's changing in the modern era, you need to work hard. You need to be dynamic, and he isn't, unfortunately. So Barkley was left to have his contract terminated by mutual consent, and he's left the football club. Now, coming in, Denis Zakaria has come in on loan from Juventus for a season with an option to buy for 30 million at the end of this coming season. He's only 25, but the guy had really impressed over in Germany. He was then signed for Juve and couldn't really force his way in as such. But someone who is a defensive midfielder at 6'3" is a presence. He's got good use of the ball. He's pacey as well. He likes the tackle. And if you compare him for his all-round ability compared to Ross Barkley, it's a massive tick. Now, guys, these are the players that have come into our first team squad. We've signed some other youngsters, as we know. There's other players that have left Chelsea either on loan or on permanent deals, and that's Callum Hudson-Odoi, which is such a shame to see him go, but he's going to go out and play first team football this season regularly, hopefully for most of it, and really build his confidence up to come back to Chelsea next year and be a force to reckon with, hopefully. Malang Sarr, someone that just filled in the gaps. He's gone out on loan as well this season to Monaco. And we see Emerson's left the football club. And as we've seen, he's signed for West Ham. So for me, just focusing on the first team players, the first team squad members that left, and those replacements that have come in, you ask yourself the question, have we improved our squad from what we had as the transfer window opened in the summer to what we've got just shortly after it's closed? For me, 100%. And it's exciting to see what happens now and how Thomas Tuchel approaches the games. As we know, Aubameyang's out for a couple of weeks with a jaw injury. Zakaria's not got his work permit, so he can't play tomorrow. So from sort of Tuesday onwards or next couple of weeks, you're going to see the team begin to evolve into what Tuchel wants to do. Will he keep the 3-4-3? Will he swap to a 3-5-2? Or will he go 4 at the back and play maybe a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3? The players we've brought in give us possibilities that are endless. The likes of Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech are still here. And hopefully we can make use of them and give them regular first-team football, playing wide, supporting Aubameyang, maybe. But I guess we have to see what happens. But as I said, the whole point of this video is looking at it today, saying, have we improved our first-team squad from where we were to where we are now? And my answer is yes, 100%. What's your answer? Let me know, comment section below. And if you like the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you also check out the membership option on the homepage. Just £1 a month to be a member. Thanks so much for watching. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. It's been a good window. See you next time.